yeah, and then you put it in together. Okay, so no and infant. Well, who's the next one that has an example with a older child? Not older, but preschool. Okay, do you have a specific child? Okay, so describe the scenario. Okay.
We're playing musical chairs.
Okay.
And the music stops and he doesn't have a seat, so he's out of the game. They get upset.
Oh, I know what you're doing.
Well, okay, so being upset is probably not the problem. What's the behavior that you think is a candidate for reductive discipline? Like if he's hitting.
No, he's not hitting. I think I would like him to realize it's part of the game and everybody.
Then this isn't a candidate for inductive discipline. Remember, it's got to be physical safety is at stake, or emotional if he's hurting someone else.
So he's pushing the other child, so the child has the seat, and he wants the seat, so he's pushing.
Oh, okay. Then that's the behavior that you're going to try and change. So describe what he did then. You didn't get the chair, and Sam's in the chair, and you're pushing him out. Sam got the chair first, and now you're pushing him out. I'd say something like that. And then, you know, what do you want him to do when somebody else is sitting in the chair? When he doesn't get the chair he wants, what do you want him to do? Yeah, you have to tell him what do you expect him to do when he doesn't get the chair that he was trying to get? It's got to be positive. It's got to tell him what to do, not what not to do. That's the second step.
Listen to the music. Listen to the music and try and sit down.
Listen. I don't think you're ever going to get anywhere with listen.
No.
I think it's got to be physical. What do you, with a young kid? What do you want him to do now?
That's not him doing it.
I want him to maybe sit and watch the other children. Maybe you could read a book while he's.
Just that when you don't get the chair, I'd like you to go sit over there.
You don't get the chair.
Where the others are sitting.
No, too many words. Too many words.
Go sit with your friends who.
Go sit down on the red square and wait for till the game is over. It's just very specific, not a lot of explanations. Just tell him what in that moment. What do you want him to do? Like the kid's ready to do this. I'd like you to sit over there next to Sarah.
But isn't that sort of a consequence for that child?
We're gonna do that. Not yet.
But if you tell him to sit.
I'm talking while I'm trying to teach. Actually, see, I wouldn't do that because the thing is that you're like eager and interested, and you've got all these thoughts in your head that you want help. But we're gonna do the consequences after this, so I want.
No, I'm just asking. That just sounded like a consequence. Like you're telling that child to go sit on that like square.
Oh,
and wait
I
for
see
your
what you're
friends.
saying.
Not a positive. I mean, it's an expectation, but it also sounds to me like a consequence because that child wants to be in the game.
He's out though. He lost.
Right, but he wants.
And all the other kids sitting there are out
right,
too.
and he pushed the child to stay in the game so he can sit on that chair.
You hit, you sit. You hit, you sit. I mean, I just want him to do something else. So when he's out of the game, just tell him the expectation. That's not the consequence.
Okay.
I see how it's a little confusing,
Yeah.
right? So that's it. Next.
I had asked you to stop name calling, and I just heard you calling him names again.
Okay, so make it really short.
Oh, I thought you wanted us to.
The first
start.
one is describe what he did.
Oh, name call.
You just told Sam he was an idiot, or you just called him a name if you don't want to say that. You know, the rule is no name calling, and I just heard you call Sam a name.
It's not just as long.
It's a little longer, but I think it's like, the rule is this and you did this.
Okay.
The rule is, the expectation is this and you did this.
Yeah.
I asked you to do this and you did that. Okay, and then now what was it that led to the name calling? Tell me the situation.
The situation is, one is just making commentary on the TV. Like, the TV is on,
Mhm.
and one is just making a comment about it, which is fine. Like, no one else in the room is bothered by it, but one child can't stand it.
Can't stand what?
Hearing him, the commentary during the show.
So he calls another kid a name?
His
So-
brother, yeah.
What does he say?
Like, that's so, what he's saying would be like, that's so stupid, don't be an idiot, like, stuff like, all the,
To the TV or to the boy?
to the boy.
Oh, to the boy, okay. Okay, so, anybody wanna try? Wanna try? So this is a kid that's annoyed that the
There's two
TV is
kids-
on,
there's two
it's like
kids in
too
the room.
stimulating for him, I'm thinking.
No, he just doesn't like his brother.
But
If anybody else was doing that, he wouldn't say a word, it's just him, and that's like, it's so hard for me to like listen to this. Anyway.
I think it would just be that when you're annoyed with your brother, I'd like you to tell him that you're mad. Tell him why you're mad, I guess. Tell him why you're mad. You just called him a name. If you're upset with something he did, I'd like you to explain why.
Yeah.
You know, explain why.
can you ask him to stop? Like, can you give the one who's needing to express his frustration something that the other one could not? Do you know what I mean? Like, tell him, say to him, tell your brother you want him to stop.
Yes, that'd be
Give
even
him that
better.
as a-
When he's done this, I'd like you to tell him to stop or ask for help. Sometimes the ask for help is really good. Like, I'd like you to do this or ask for help. Real short, ask for help, because we want to stop the habit.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I don't want a lot of discussion because it's not going to be time to, this isn't time to teach. It's just, you're just changing you're just trying
Like a quick switch.
to set an expectation and put a consequence in that's going to stop something. But it'll keep popping up unless you figure out what the real underlying problem is. And that's to discuss a different time. And start figuring it out. But at least they know it's not okay.
It reminds me of a behaviorist I used to work with who used to tell the kids when they would hit or kick, you know, if they would kick, she would say, feet on the floor. Put your
That's
feet on the
great.
floor.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
it's just
never
fast.
said don't hit or don't kick, especially with 2 years.
Yeah.
The way she described it to me always made so much sense
Right.
because she was like, if you don't have impulse control
Yes.
and someone says the word hit and kick,
Yes.
hit and kick,
That's it.
you're gonna do
You
it.
hit, you
either.
kick.
Right.
As opposed, my
Or
son
don't
used to
bite,
bang
you know?
this like golf club on the floor and he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'd be like, stop banging the golf club. And he'd look at me for a second, he'd stop, and then he'd start doing it again. And I'd be like, bang it on the rug. And he was like,
You wanna use
it's
Right.
just impulse.
Right.
There's not a lot of empathy or talk around it. Just
Right.
give him something else to do. And then if he keeps doing it on the floor,
Yeah, put your
then you
hands
take
on
it
your
away,
sides,
you know?
put your hands on your, in your pockets,
Yes,
she would
put
say.
your hand in your pocket,
Put your hands on your
head,
sides,
Simon
feet on the
says,
floor.
yeah. Yes, that needs to be something that's fast, or ask for help.
Right.
Ask for help is like a good.
You can always
easy
use that.
word. Yeah, you can always use that. So, next.
A scenario on the playground.
I know, yeah, I looked at you.
Oh, sorry.
It's you.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, I have 3 different things that happened recently. The first one I'm gonna tell you is this. My 8-year-old grandson had a meltdown after reading it because he couldn't find this ball that somebody gave him. She gave each of my grandsons a red ball, okay? So he couldn't find it and he was having a meltdown. So what I said to him was wrong. I
Okay,
said,
wait a second. What's the behavior that is the problem?
The behavior is he's having a temper tantrum.
That's,
When I say meltdown, I mean he's like,
but in my mind, if they're not hurting anyone else or themselves, then I don't think it's a thing for adaptive discipline. I think it's a strategy to help him manage his emotion better, but not his
Oh.
behavior. This skill is for managing
Alright.
your
all
behavior.
right, I got 2 different.
Yeah, so give me one that there's a
All right,
because
this same boy
you can't be like
likes.
consequence for
What's-
having a
what's-
consequence for being upset is basically what you're saying. And
Or-
you can't give a consequence for being upset.
Like if the temper tantrum leads to like physical.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Hit it.
Yeah.
But I told him the wrong.
Then
I
that's
said,
when
"You're
you
acting
use
like a-"
inductive
I
discipline.
said to him, "You're acting like a 2-year-old," which I shouldn't have said.
I'm
to
sure
him.
that went over well.
No, after I said that, I said,
Yeah.
all right, this is the other thing. I mean, the 8-year-old likes to touch his brother,
Okay.
so then the brother touches him, and goes back and forth. Like he said, no, just to do it, just to do it, you know. And I said,
Is it when he wants like a little bit of like
no,
rough and tough play? You just-
no, he just
Is it
like this. And so to get a rise out of his brother.
He wants to play. rough, however.
But it's more like a tease, it's more, it's
Is
not
it
like.
bothering?
It's kinda like a,
Yeah, it's
They're
they're bothering each other,
Okay.
see?
okay.
And they wanna see you,
So describe what he did. What's step one?
he's doing this, he's poking his
Tell
brother.
him, say what he did. You move in close and describe the behavior.
You're poking your brother.
And I often like to say, and the rule is hands to yourself, I don't know.
So I said, walk away. Don't touch your brother, walk away.
Okay, yeah. You're poking your brother, and I asked you to stop, right?
And I
And you're
asked you
still
to
poking,
stop.
and you're poking your brother, and I asked you to stop. And then stand there, and don't say anything. You're just standing there, and you're waiting. Now, this is an opportunity. If he stops right then, you can say, even though it was you really wanted to keep doing that, you stopped. And I really appreciate it. It makes it a lot easier. So that's why you wait just a bit, because you use descriptive reinforcement if they follow it, and you've just, had an opportunity to actually reinforce them listening. You didn't name it, but you just said, I asked you, and you did. Thank you so much.
And if he doesn't,
And if he doesn't, just tell him, step 2 is tell him what you want him to do.
walk away from your brother.
And I'd like you to go sit over there.
Yeah, well, you're not gonna
I mean, I
listen
see
to
what your
that.
point is about the consequence, but if you can't play without poking, then I'd like you to go sit down, or tell him, just give him something alternative.
Not to talk
I mean,
to my
hands
brother.
to yourself
This goes
are
on
okay.
Constantly, this is not like a one-time thing.
Okay,
Yeah, oh,
next.
well.
Oh,
Go on.
your turn.
Okay.
Yay!
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
Even though you wanted to talk, you waited.
I-
It was your turn. Even though you were confused and you wanted to ask me a question, you waited. So you're,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, I want to see if I did this right. Okay, so the rule is you're select, no, the rule
Tell me
is,
this, tell me what happened.
the child was playing bad guys and hit a friend, well, hit multiple friends.
Okay, so is he hitting because it's gotten out of control and it's like this, the game's not going well and he's pushing?
Well, in the, in the beginning, I explained they can play the game,
Uh-huh.
but to pretend, and I acted it out, like I said,
Yeah.
am I touching so-and-so,
Mhm.
and they were like, no. And was
I
like,
know, but I
"Okay."
wanna know what happens that leads him to push. Cause like if kids play and even when they're playing, it's fun and then somebody pushes them too hard and he shoves back, that's very different than things just get a little rambunctious and
No, he's the one that pushed, started the pushing and hitting.
yeah, so he's upset.
They're just running
He's
around.
frustrated or upset about something?
No, they're just playing bad guys. I tried to understand, I asked
Just what
questions.
do you see? What do you see? Is it your hunch that it's getting to the point, I mean, you know that feeling, if I'm playing a
I mean,
sport,
other
it
friends
can
are
get
getting
rough.
upset, like they wanna play with this child, but the other friends are getting upset when he lays his hands on them. Cause they understand the rule, but this child does not.
I'm just trying to get why he's doing it. Is it because he's frustrated or because he's, all right,
It's a
fine.
difficult child, I don't know.
Okay, all
I
right,
try to
fine.
understand.
Okay,
It's an
so,
outgrowth of the
so,
game.
so step one,
Right?
so step one, describe what he's doing, what he just did. You move over close.
Do I explain the rule first? Like, I don't.
No explaining, you just say,
Just say
he
the
knows
rule is no hands on friends,
and you
and you just hit,
yes, and you just pushed Sam,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna be like, and you pushed him and him and him,
No,
and
no,
you
no.
just hit Sam.
cause it's
And
what
you
I
s-
saw right then and there.
And you stand there. Okay, and this kid, if it's the kid I'm thinking, is probably gonna either not listen or run away, I don't
Mhm.
know, right?
Mhm.
He doesn't listen, he doesn't run, right, okay, so, right. It's gonna be the consequence that gets him to pay attention to you, but we're still gonna go through the steps. So what you want him to do, so even though he's kinda lost in the game, when it gets too much, or when you feel like, then
When you feel like you're about to hit, no. See,
he
I try,
can't, he doesn't know when he's about to hit, it's just,
it's hard for me, inductive discipline is hard with the whole physical,
this I think,
emotional is easier,
just
but.
hands to yourself. Your hands in your pocket, just tell him where you want his hands when he's playing the game. So, I mean, you can
I
make
said,
a
I've
joke out of
said
it.
hands by your side.
I know, I'm not saying that you haven't done this,
Yeah.
I think
I'm just trying
that
to-
he doesn't have impulse control, and there are a lot of other skills that
Yeah.
that you're gonna need. I think the consequence we can come up with, but he's probably gonna keep doing it, cause it's an impulse, it's
Mhm.
not like, but over time, you're helping him build a relationship with you that he knows, that he respects you enough, that he's gonna start to listen, but also he's getting his needs met, and there's a consequence if he doesn't. That's what I think for this kid. If it's an impulse kid, like, he's not trying to be defiant, he's just hyper and a little aggressive, is that right? Yeah. And see, the thing is that there's another piece in there that he wants to play, and he has drive to play, and he wants to play rough.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so in some cases, it's figuring out how he can do that in a way that doesn't hurt the other kids. That's your problem solving that we want to figure out. I don't know the answer, but he needs to play rough, and he likes it. He likes the intense physical activity, and yet the other kids don't, and you want to keep him safe. I think that's the problem that we want to solve. I don't know what the answer is, but just getting him to talk about it is going to slow down the impulse. That's why a consequence isn't going to be a magic bullet until you actually have him slow it down. Yeah.
There's a wonderful author that I can't remember the name of right now, but I went to a workshop with her, and you would probably have heard of her if I can remember her name, but she taught, just to help with that little boy, she taught teachers how to handle those situations by setting a stage for them. Anybody go to this DJ set it up? It was like up here. She said,
Yeah.
our classroom, when you want to play that way,
Yeah,
there's rules to play that way. So you have to ask the other kids if they want to play rough.
it's great.
You have to, there's an area in the room that's a stage.
I love it.
It has
It's
to
like a
be
boxing
in that
match.
area, and you always have to ask the teacher first if you can play that way.
That's so great, because
And I
Yeah.
always thought that was amazing.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it was that old lady that came, and she set it up as a stage, and she.
Robert?
I remember
That was
hearing
Vivian
at the
Paley.
conference.
Vivian Paley.
Oh,
Yes, it was Vivian Paley.
We did the play, right, we did the plays, and if they wanted to sword
Yeah.
fight, she said,
They-
set
Yeah,
it
I
as a
remember.
sword fight,
You
Vivian
can
Paley.
play
Yeah.
fight, you just
A
have
need
to
is
have
a need,
boundaries.
it's not gonna go away.
Right,
And you can
and-
get
and-
that constructively or
Every year you have a
destructively.
group that needs it again. So it was amazing. You ask the teacher first,
Yeah.
you ask the friends
Right.
if they wanna play.
I love it.
And
And
there's a
that's, you can
space.
collaborate around that. And you have an idea, but, jeez, excuse me. Gosh.
I remember.
I don't remember that
Not
at
a
the
really
conference.
good, so, yes.
Another idea I was gonna say is we always have this thing in my class that thinks kids, whatever you're playing, everyone has to feel safe. So in that case, and I had a child that
Yeah.
was very
Yeah.
aggressive without meaning to be.
Mhm.
And what we sort of taught him is to ask the other kids, like to stop him, and the
Mhm.
positive expectation would be, I need you to ask, Bob and Sam if they're also having fun.
That's great, I
And
like
that would
that.
automatically stop it because they would say no, and he wouldn't even realize
Oh,
what he
that's
was
great.
doing, and then they could figure out how to
I love it, because you're shifting him, you're giving him something to do, and it's teaching him to actually listen and wait for the feedback. Great. Remember that. Okay, next one.
It's not physical, it's more listen, more.
Okay, yep, so tell me the example.
The scenario is on the playground,
Mhm.
that I'm going inside and two children
Uh-huh,
like running around
he's
and
not listening, he's not coming in when you
not
ask.
ready to go inside.
Okay.
So the positive expectation is
Oh, no, tell me the behavior again. Tell me, pretend like you just walked up to this kid, or tried to catch him.
they running,
Yeah. Yes.
running around for me.
Okay, so the first thing, I know you can't put your hands on these kids, but it's really important to, especially a kid who's not, you don't even have his attention, you can't run around and chase him, but is to at least get him to come over to you, or go over to him and it's right in front of him, say, I
Yes,
asked,
I say now it's time going inside,
and you're still
Sure.
running around.
and you're still running around, all your class inside.
Yes, that's great, yep, got it. Okay, next.
Okay, so, I guess the situation was, I had a little boy who, when he would get frustrated because others wouldn't let him talk, he would like go over and like throw chairs over across the room. So I guess.
Like if he's playing in his games or something, or he wants
Or
to.
if he's playing, if he's playing, if he's, like at morning meeting, if he wasn't being allowed to.
So is he talking out of turn and the other kids are kind of putting the,
Yeah, but he's kind of has a speech delay, and it's hard for him to speak up all the time.
uh-huh,
So he just thinks, I think he thinks like, when he has something to say, he wants to say it. And I, a few other children who just like talked all the time, like they always think it's, have their input in. And when he wanted to talk, he felt like he wasn't getting a turn to talk. So he would,
so it's
So
in
he's
play, it's with
frustrated.
it's with peers.
It's with peers.
It's with peers, and it's when he's playing or something, he wants to put in his 2 cents, and they're used to him not saying anything. So they're just kind of like, not even listening, and then he gets
right,
frustrated.
and he gets frustrated and
Okay.
he throws chairs.
Okay.
So I guess I would say, you're not getting a chance to talk, and it's frustrating you, but throwing chairs is.
Okay, just describe what he just did.
So-
Just step 1. See, it's hard because you just had all the empathy stuff. You're trying to describe and descriptive, and now I'm throwing a curveball at you, and I'm like,
Right.
all right, just tell me what he did. Physical, what he did.
You're throwing chairs,
You just.
you just threw a chair across the room, and
That's it.
and that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just threw a chair across the room. I might add, when you didn't think, when you didn't get a chance to talk. I might add that. I want to pair it a little bit.
Okay.
You might not know that though. So something happened that upset you and you threw a chair. You just threw a chair across the room. Something happened that upset you and you just threw a chair across the room. That might be it. That's like short. Stop. And then simple, because language delayed, I think it would be, if something upsets you, ask for help. I think that's that good because I don't think he can do anything else. And that's all, because
Just short.
we know we need so many more skills to build up so he can actually engage, and that's something you do in like goal setting and stuff and talking about it. But we'll add a consequence to that too,
Okay.
to all of these. Yeah. Yeah. Does that feel right? Like you could say that and he would
What, if something upsets you,
ask for help.
ask for help. Yes.
When something upsets you, you come ask for help. You said something upset you and you just threw the chair. If something upsets you, you come ask for help. And then the consequence is going to be paired with all of that if it happens again. But in the meantime, when that's not going on, you're talking about all of that slowly, empathy, personal message, what do you think you could do, and so you're giving him some other way while you have the consequence in place. Yeah. Okay. What time is it?
4:30.
Oh, all right.
You keep running down the hallway away from your class. We expect you to walk with the class.
Okay. Yeah, I think so. Away from your class, because he's supposed to be with his class. I might say, you're supposed to be with your class and you're running down the hallway. Just like that. You're supposed to do this and you're doing this, and this is what we expect. Great.
He's a runner.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. Next.
So, you have, well, I wrote, I've asked you not to dump your water, during snack time. But it's a dumping water issue, and we've gone through everything.
Right, so just say what you did.
You just dumped your water during snack time.
That's it. The rule is,
And
you
then
may
I,
not dump your water, you just dumped your water on the table.
and then I wrote, if you are done with your water, put your cup with the water in the trash can.
Great. We got it. Yeah, it's very specific. When you're finished with your water, put your cup in the trash can. Yeah. Yep, we gotta have a consequence for this one, 'cause-
Yeah, because.
yeah, you know it too, don't
We-
you?
and we-
You gotta
and
do
we-
it again.
Right, because we've run the gamut, so everything
Yeah.
from explaining why and falling on the floor and slipping
Yeah.
to giving him other opportunities, or
Yeah.
say, let's just go to the water table and you
Well,
can dump all you want in the
Because he
water
wants to
table.
dump, why is he doing that? He's like making kids laugh?
I wish I knew.
You don't know,
Well, no,
okay.
because they know it's not right and that he's kind of, at this
So he's
point.
not even,
getting-
okay.
No, I mean, we've given him other opportunities to dump his water. He just has this thing with the snack time, just dumping water.
I mean, he does that.
He's bored.
He's
bored.
He might
That's
be
why, but that's
bored.
why, if you are done, then take the cup with the water and put it in the trash can.
Yep, that's it.
That's, I mean, that's why
That's it
I'm,
right
that's not why I
now.
asked you to do.
That's it, that's it. We'll do a consequence.
And then you can go play.
Yeah.
Don't dump it.
Yeah, and we don't need to explain anything anymore, he knows he's not supposed to do it.
Exactly.
We'll come up with a consequence,
Exactly.
okay? All right, next.
Okay, so the rule is, I don't know if this is like really wrong. The rule is no wrestling, and you keep tackling your friend and making him cry.
It's a similar, a little bit of a, so tell me a little
Right.
bit about this kid and when this happens.
So, well, it happens when he wants to play with
Okay,
his
so he likes
friend.
to play rough and he wants to play rough with another kid?
No, he only likes to play rough with this one child.
Uh-huh.
Any other child, he's,
Does
Fine.
does it sometimes go okay and sometimes it just gets out of hand? Does the other child ever like to wrestle with him?
not anymore.
Because
They
it got
used,
too
they
rough?
had, there's history. They used to wrestle,
Uh-huh.
but now one is beyond
He
that.
doesn't wanna wrestle with him anymore. Okay, all right, so, I might, when if you describe the behavior, you might pair it with, Sam has asked you not to wrestle with him, and you're trying to get him to wrestle with you.
Okay.
Something like that.
Mhm.
And then, next, what did you say?
So I said, I would like you to ask him to play instead of knocking him over.
And if he says no, then
Okay.
ask for help.
Okay.
No, that doesn't really fit. Because, I can't tell if it's just his need to wrestle or something with this kid, so that might take some, like, if he's not running around wrestling with all the other kids,
Right,
like
it's only with this
kid.
one child.
Yeah, it's something else that we
It's-
wanna understand more.
Well, I think that it's his, that's how their relationship started, was a very physical,
Oh, and now it's like,
but they're
how do I relate
friends.
to this kid?
Right,
He won't
exactly,
wrestle with
and
me
he,
anymore.
and he doesn't wanna, and we've
Yeah.
tried to help model appropriate ways
Yeah,
of playing.
he can't, he's
But
too.
he can't, that's his go-to.
Yeah.
He sees his friend and he tackles him.
Yeah, it might be just at some point, not in that moment, like I noticed yesterday
Right.
when, like, he wanted to play with him, or it's hard, he used to wrestle with you and now he won't anymore, and you're not really sure how to play with him, and you really want to.
Right.
You really wish you would again. And then he'd talk more, you'll figure out more, and then I think you have things to figure, like,
He won't talk,
we don't
but
know
yeah.
what his goal might be. He might be just implementing a solution to his goal. Maybe it's like, that's the only way he knows how to connect with this kid, and he actually likes him and he feels rejected. Like,
Right.
over and over again, he's getting rejected because his way to ask to play is like, let's play like the only way I know how.
Right, so then
Yeah.
you're going back to the empathy.
You are,
as
but not
opposed-
in the moment,
Okay.
not when not in that moment. After it's all done, you go back and approach him and talk about it, but not at that point. And that way, it's not confusing when he's in that moment, like, oh, are we gonna talk about it, or are we gonna, like, yeah. Okay,
Me?
yeah.
So my scenario is just a typical toy stealer. I work with the two, so there's a lot of toy
Okay.
stealing. But I said you grab the teddy bear from Sam. You need to give it back and find a different one.
Yeah, I'd say Sam was playing with the teddy bear and you grabbed it from his hands. Sam had the teddy bear and you grabbed it from his hands. Yeah, that's kind of it. Now, is it because, I'm just curious, did he have it, drop it, and then now you want, or is he just like, I just want it and I'm just gonna grab
No,
it?
it was like I want what I want and I want it
Okay.
right now.
Yeah, that's all. That's it, that's good, yeah. Next?
So I did like the situation where you have kids that are excluding like a group of kids playing and they're excluding another
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
So I wrote, the rule in our room is you can't say you can't play. You're telling Sam he can't play with you and Jim. I would like you to include him or else you may play by yourself. Because that is a rule they know from the beginning of the
Yeah.
year. Like, you're always allowed to say, I don't wanna play with you. You're
Yes.
allowed to play by yourself, but you can't be playing in a group and tell someone else they can't.
Yeah, I think you got it. That's it.
I know, Sam is doing a lot of, Sam's getting the brunt of a lot of stuff.
Same kid?
No, we're
Everybody's
always like
using
Sam
Sam.
as
Oh,
It's OJ.
Not, okay. Okay.
First of all, can I tell you, Allison just sent me an email that her husband had a medical procedure and she was trying to be empathetic.
Yeah.
And Mariposa doesn't work on him because he's a rabbi and he gets it. Like, he knows what
He knows what she's doing.
Take, text, personal message, in big letters, or, hold on. Or inductive discipline, don't talk. No.
She doesn't know that yet, she's not here.
Oh,
She doesn't know inductive reasoning, she's not here.
Oh,
Inductive
say
discipline.
personal message,
Okay. From Anne, okay.
short, personal message, then stop talking.
All right, okay.
Short, strong.
She's trying,
Personal that's her personal message, I'm trying.
She's trying.
And I'm afraid that anything I say is gonna make you upset. Text her that. Text her that. Text.
You wanna say it into?
Yeah. Well, just do close, right? Say, I'm trying.
Oh, I don't have her text, I'm sorry, can't do that. All right. And second. Can I share it?
It would be,
I'm trying.
I'm worried, I wanna help, but I'm worried that my trying is only making it worse.
I love it.
That's funny.
Okay. I'm sure we'll get feedback from
All
her.
right,
in a
yeah,
second.
yeah,
Okay, all right.
Oh, she's ready, okay. Yeah, we're almost, we have two more, no, two more.
And Judy has one.
Yeah, but you,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So we have a little boy who, when he gets angry,
Uh-huh.
I've talked to him about him before, he grunts.
Yes.
The first response is grunting.
Yeah.
And we're trying to stop it there before we get to here, which is what happens. So I just put
But the
your.
grunting's okay, I don't know that I'd set a consequence on that.
Okay.
You're
Well, I
trying to
know it's-
prevent the
right.
action that leads to, that,
Which gets too big.
which gets too big, so I think he can grunt, it's fine, if he just grunted. I mean,
So I just wrote, you're grunting instead of talking, say I am mad.
no, I think that's helpful.
We're
Yeah,
just
but-
trying to get past that, cause.
Yeah,
I hear,
nice and simple, that relates to
I
that.
was gonna, I've heard it a couple times,
Mhm.
and it's every time you stop them for, I feel like a lot of people don't let other people feel what they wanna feel. It almost sounds
You're
like,
hearing it through, yeah,
you mentioned it a couple times, and when you're frustrated with a behavior,
Mhm.
like something that you don't think they're doing, they're expressing a feeling that they're having, and we're annoyed
And
with
it's-
that
yeah.
feeling. It's like, well, let them feel, like they just need
yeah,
to feel.
I don't think she's afraid of letting him feel, I think she's afraid of what leads to that, but others
The
have expressed
grunting though
that.
is like him getting that tension out.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
and that's
then,
okay.
then he blows for
That's
an
how
hour. No, like, we know
And
that
I think
that
that's
starts
a
it.
lot of it though, when
So
we
that's what
put,
we're
so one of the things when I go over styles, a disapproving style, ineffective, is when you're punishing the emotion as opposed to the
Yes.
behavior, and
It
yes, that's,
brings you 10 steps back.
yeah, yeah, so we wanna be clear about making sure you're putting limits on the behavior, but not the emotion.
That's
So
okay,
you can
but-
name the motion and then put the limit on the behavior, that's why I